And we are back. I'm the Dadadpanther, and we're going to continue this conversation about Marvel's Avengers, the game. And you'll hear me talk a little bit about online and XP as we continue our journey on this so-called rant. Kalika-lika-lao. In all honesty, it isn't a rant. It's more of a conversation. You know, my little TED Talk, one of many I've had on this channel about this game and the division and so forth. And if you like the TED Talk and you like that experience, check me out on Twitch, where I do the same thing, but I do it longer. Yeah, and I don't break it up in little bite size. We play video games, or we just chill and we just talk, and I'm trying to grow a community out of it by being a part of the community. You know what I'm talking about. So hit the subscribe button, 3 likes. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you, and you, and you. I appreciate it greatly. Now, before we get into the continuation of the Marvel TED Talk, just know this game is still a good game. It's still promise. Okay? So that's what we're doing, the TED Talk. That's what we're talking. It's good for the community. We never know who's going to watch it, who's going to look at it and take it further. But just understand, I believe the devs know all of this. Okay? I believe they knew it before the game came out. I believe most developing teams and publishers know the issues on their games months, even years. They have analytical information. They know exactly what parts are fun, what part isn't fun. And that comes from my experience of playtesting. Okay, so that might be a conversation for another day. But in this, I'm going to talk about the multiplayer, the co-op, the online, the XP, and certain things of that nature. So again, enjoy the show. Kalika-lika-lao. In no particular order, it would have to be starting off with multiplayer. You have to have a better multiplayer co-op experience. You sold us on the idea of heroes playing together, when the heroes shouldn't have been together. The heroes should have actually been the Inhumans, if you weren't going to do create a human. Inhumans, I'm trying to keep the feedback positive, where it's something that any dev listening to this could maybe talk about to somebody who has more knowledge than me. But if the Inhumans were the main character, right? And then you got Captain America and everybody else on season 2, meaning 2021, and they could work out all these issues on the bugs. The PR team still sold you the game based off what the game was, so you weren't cheated on the hero part. Now you get the new heroes. Now you get new heroes sprinkled in with the main Avengers that you know, with more of a storyline. But more importantly, having an aspect with the multiplayer where it's needed. There's no XP boost for playing with anybody online. There's no XP boost for playing with multiple people or long-term people. There's nothing right now that if I played with a friend online or somebody I didn't know, that I can conversate with them, get to know them. There's no social hub to get to know somebody without also being harassed. There's another thing to think about there. There is nothing different on the gear visually for your player. So you're stuck in a situation where only one Hulk can show up. Now, let's say you later on make it where 4 Hulks are on a mission. They don't look different. And if you're able to, other than the skins, if you're able to have the gear different, then the conversation comes up, where did you get that ring from? I got it from running this. Oh, you want to run it right now? No, I don't have the time, but thank you for letting me know it ran. Like what mission to do it on. The other aspect of it is like, man, you could have where you can drop loot for somebody. Grind the game out, drop loot. Play multiplayer, and as long as you're playing multiplayer, then you're able to get XP for the rest of your characters, right? That'd be awesome. The other thing that has an issue is the loot. It doesn't go hand in hand, but let's talk about Loot 2.0, which the devs have already said multiple times. They are looking at the loot system, and something is going to change. Now, we're just looking at it. There's going to be a rework of the loot. I call it Loot 2.0. You can quote me on it. And when they start talking about it, remember the Dadadpanther told you first. I've been in other chats and other situations where people are like, why are you talking about Loot 2.0? No one talked about it. You tell me who told you. Tell me who told you. Tell me. CD Phil said it. Go back and check some of the streams with CD Phil and Andy, the dynamic duo. and they talked about it. Now, what does Loot 2.0 mean or look like in my eyes? It means a power increase from the 51 up to whatever. I don't know the analytical numbers to see what's reasonable, what's not. There's somebody who's in charge of making sure the system and the currency all don't get thrown off of whack just because some weird guy on YouTube comes up with an idea. There's a lot of us out there, right? This is turning into a TED Talk, and I like it. So with the Loot 2.0, the power cap increases, the gears increase, gear sets need to come in. So the brands that you're seeing from Tony Stark and Pym and all this other stuff in between, it needs to have weight, it needs to have meaning. You need to be able to tell someone you're running a gear set. A lot of times I watch Lejeune, and while he's playing the game, Craze Game, I think is his name, he's another one that does it. And while they're doing this, Vlad is another one, but while they're doing builds, it's so much easier to say what the gear set is. And it's not just the idea of it's easier to say it, right? It's the idea of there's a gear set, there's a looting system that goes with the gear, and you're farming. Now you're meaningfully looking for something to add to pieces. So not only are you looking for a piece, that's one whole level, but can you imagine when you start taking the next level, when you start looking for perks? Okay, that's another level. But now you're sitting there looking for actual gear sets to have the right perk, to have the right piece. Now you're trying to get a synergy. Now you take that and you go with what I said before with the multiplayer being impactful. Can you imagine if your synergy fit your team in a superhero game? Crazy idea, right? Like, think about it. When you're playing online, and I played online only a few times, and I've watched people play online. Like I watch when I'm on Twitch, I'm watching people play. There's no synergy. There's 4 people smacking stuff around, doing stuff, great animation. I like the fighting system. The lag and the glitching and stuff has kind of disappeared in my opinion. I haven't had any issues on my end. But there's no one saying I need a heal build. There's no one saying I need tank, DPS, or anything of that nature. I'm not seeing that. And that goes into the loot, that goes into the gear. There is no targeted map. You can't go through and say, you're going to run this mission. You see me run the same mission for hours. I'm just trying to get better gear. And the frustrating part about it is when the gear doesn't drop, it's not like, well, that's RNG. No, that's just this game's looting system that is missing. There's no lock your gear so you don't accidentally delete a gear. You can only mass delete gear that's in your locker room, not in the spot you have. There's times where you hit the best loot button and it only changes, I can't, for the ISOs, it only changes that. And then when it changes it to, I guess, what it thinks the best gear is. When in reality, you might be running 2 reds because you want melee damage, you want that damage, not the 2 yellow that it puts you at. Because that's trying to give you heroic.